What's going on, y'all? So listen. So somebody had the nerve to put in the comments last week that they didn't like the intro because it's too loud when they put their head. If you got your headphones on, turn the bitch down. Come on, y'all don't do the stupidest and get over 4 fucking seconds. Your ears really gonna be fucked up over 4 fucking seconds. Turn your fucking headphones down or turn your volume down. That's how you solve the problem, like Maria. Okay, that's how you solve the problem. All right. Ugh. That's dumb. Dumb as shit. Yes, I addressed it. But anyway, moving on because we on some more dumb shit. Before we get into this reunion, okay, part two. Bitch, is it gonna be a part three? Let me check. I'll come back later and check. But did y'all see the super trailer for Love and Hip Hop Hollywood? Now, bitch, they got Mr. Ray Fat. Let me stop. I don't want to say that because I'm a fat bitch too, but I own it, and I just can't stand when Anyway, he's just annoying as fuck to me. Y'all better go check out Milan and see if he's still alive and still okay because he probably dead in his feelings that they didn't ask for his ass to come back and they didn't replace him and Miles with two other gays, okay? But listen, he said some shit to that boy about how he look and all this stuff and how he represent himself, and old boy got his ass up and was about to whoop his ass, and the look on Ray's face, and if y'all know Ray is from College Hill back in the day, okay? They need to bring that shit back. The look on his face had me fucking rolling because he was so I said, bitch, talk all that shit, but when it comes down to scrap, you can't do that shit because you scared as fuck. All right, listen. If you have not seen the Love and Hip Hop trailer, it's probably on YouTube. It's most definitely on VH1 site. We can discuss that shit down in the comments, okay? Because I ain't finna go all the way into it, but the shit look pretty good. But y'all know how Mona and them do. They will give us a lit ass fucking trailer, and then the shit be dull as fuck by episode 3, like this season of Love and Hip Hop and that. No shade, but we'd all been thinking the same thing. But moving on, part 2. So they pick up where we left off last week with Jocelyn not being in there. They played a, recording of the conversation that Stevie had with her. And basically, Jocelyn is on this high ass plane. Like Stevie said, this is an ensemble cast. It's not the Jocelyn show. She literally said, I came to do my reunion for my fans. Hence the word my reunion. It's not just your reunion. It's the cast of Love and Hip Hop reunion. This is not just your show. Yeah, you probably got a lot of people that watch it for you, but it's still not just your show, and you ain't about to get special privileges over everybody else. Because if they start granting you special privileges and stuff like that, they got to do the same thing for the other cast. Now you didn't want to come up in there, and she didn't want to film with nobody else, just Melissa and Dime Piece, because I'm the only people that she has scenes with and that she fuck with or whatever. Mind you, y'all heard she ain't say Carly, okay? But you don't want to do it with nobody else. That's not what you for. That's not they just want to bring this bad person out of me and all this stuff. But baby, listen, it's called a fucking reunion on a show that you are on. It's a lot of people on their cast that probably don't fuck with each other, but you see how they sat down and they shut the fuck up. Why can't you just sit down and shut the fuck up? You ain't got to acknowledge them. Okay, so you petty as fuck, Jocelyn. The shit is not always about you. All right, you talking about some fuck love and hip hop. I'm doing movies. Can't nobody take me down but God and all this stuff. Bitch, what fucking movies you doing? Is it straight to DVD or straight to BET? Which one? Or is it a big movie that you only got one speaking role in, like one line or one sentence that's like only 3 words? How can I help you? That's like 5 words or whatever. I'm confused at this ego. And then when Stevie sits down and they talking about the whole thing, and Mimi gets involved, and basically Mimi voices her opinion, and I'm here for Mimi and what she had to say. And you know what's the fucked up part about it? With all the bullshit that Jocelyn has done, I still kind of like her. Like, I don't really 100% dislike the bitch, but I can be able to still fuck with a bitch, but I'm gonna call you out on your bullshit. And Jocelyn, you want fucking bullshit. From them allegations and all that stuff, and this being in the ego, this in head in the cloud shit, You want some bullshit, okay? It's fucked up. And you have not changed. People talking about some of the character. Oh, can she change when she become a mother and all this stuff? Some people change and some people don't. Don't ever put that out there in the universe saying that okay, when a person have a kid, they change. No, they necessarily don't. Not all the fucking time. Okay? Some of these motherfuckers still doing the same damn thing. A kid don't change a damn thing. Not all the time. Alright? Um then, Mimi goes into how CPS was called. She called Child Protective Services, and they went through this 90-day investigation, going through her whole house and all this stuff. And it was just interesting to see the way Melissa was sitting there. When you hearing all this stuff, I know it was probably frustrating for her because she's cool with Jocelyn and she's cool with Mimi, or was. And I feel the way trying to hear all this stuff, knowing that my friend is doing this stuff, but I'm still her friend because she didn't do it to me. But I know it's fucked up, the feeling that it may be. But Melissa was sitting there like she was about to put her pen pan down to some shit. Crystal on fucking Twitter said that Melissa looked like her hair smelled like a whole bunch of oil sheen. I don't know why. Melissa's sitting up there with that Just For Me purn on. And is that velvet? What is this velvet? That goddamn suit on. I said, bitch, what the fuck is going on? Okay? Listen, but anyway, she got the perm. Well, Dark and Lovely. Ain't that the perm kid that Keisha Cole was on, used to model flow? Girl, listen, I don't even fucking know. And then they was talking about the situation with the kids and, how Stevie stuck by his kids. He said, my kids came first and they gonna always come first. That's how it is. And then they get into the Panama Princess, or I should say Panamamian. What is it? Panamamian? Panamanian. Bitch, get the shit right. That's the fucking leader, the goddess, bitch, okay? Stevie said, I mean, there's a goddess and then there's a princess, and the goddess is coming from God. I said, you better rock. See, this is how Stevie be getting these women fucked up, all right? Because that motherfucker got some words. The way I'm sitting here like, you right, you right. And I said, no, bitch, stop that, You're not gonna do that. You're not gonna man fuck me for a couple of seconds like that. Cause I sure enough was like, you know what? That makes sense, bitch. No. Anyway, so they started talking about that whole thing and the whole beef and stuff with Carly Red. And see, this is why I can't fuck with Carly. Carly, you too damn fine. Well, I ain't gonna say you too damn fine. You a cute bitch, okay? Like I said, I'll fuck your ass, okay? And throw you away. But let me just tell you this. That whole thing, even with the playback and you starting it off saying interesting, you still gonna say that you will not apologize to Estelita because you feel like there's nothing to apologize for. You started it. You said you weren't throwing shade. Bitch, you were throwing shade when you were saying interesting, when you couldn't answer a simple question. That girl got up there and apologized, okay? And she did more than I would have, because I would have took that shit back and I would have got up and popped you dead in your face, okay? That's what the fuck I would have fucking did. But, and let me tell you something, Jocelyn. I really do feel like that's a pussy ass move. Like, you on some, and I know you ain't a scary bitch, but you got yourself looking like you a scary ass bitch to come sit down with the rest of these hoes and you can't control yourself, okay? And I understand if you know you're gonna be in a fuck up situation, why put yourself there? Then why get on the fucking plane, come all the way to New York, get all jazzed up, and let me tell you something, Jocelyn look good as shit, bitch, okay? Why would you do that if you just gonna stand outside and then go back to the hotel? That was a fucking waste, bitch. Get the fuck out of here. And Mimi gonna wind up trying to fuck with Estelita, okay? Estelita said no. I said, bitch, stop it. Calm down, cause Stevie was like, you trying to hook us up. Why don't when I hook y'all up? I said, quit pushing her like a drug on his ass. I would like her to be Eva's stepmother than the other bitch. All right. So they start talking about Ernest and motherfucking Mama D. Mama D, I told y'all, listen, her hair is giving me I apologize. Listen, it is giving me Anita Baker teams for real, for real. But Mama D has come a long fucking way, y'all. Because y'all know she used to look trash as fuck, okay? She literally used to look like she got her weaves from the Dollar Tree, bitch. That's where she got her stuff, that synthetic Barbie doll hair. That's that Yaki, the fucked up cheap one, okay? Mama D done came a long way, and Mama D looks good, okay? With whoever doing her shit, keep her on the team. Her or him, whoever the fuck it is. But bitch, her and Ernest still together. She put it out there. Guess what, y'all? Ernest is paying some bills. He said, first of all, don't put it out there like I ain't been paying some bills. She said, in a relationship, you got givers and takers. He's a taker and I'm a giver. But he giving what he can. I said, don't put him out there like that. God damn, Mama D. Fuck. And then she said, Ernest said his mama do like D, but he know what he got into when he married a crazy bitch. He know that she a crazy bitch, so whatever. But when they first started that segment off and they was talking about, that line that when Aunt Deb gave her them sex toys and edible pet, all that shit. Scrappy. So how do you feel about seeing your mom talking about sex and getting some, advice on this and on that? He was like, listen, I ain't need to hear all that. Mama D said, well, bitch, just because I'm an older woman, I still gets mines, okay? I'm still fucking, my pussy still gets wet. And right then and there, I'm so glad they blanked that shit out, because if I would have heard it the way that she would have said it, like, for real, I probably would have just got up and left, okay? Because I just didn't need to hear it like that. And I can hear her saying it without them bleeping out, and it's just disturbing me a little bit. But I mean, she right. She right. So she married, she still, but I ain't need to hear that shit. Like, that's like picturing your grandparents fucking, and I'm just like, I don't need to see. I know y'all did it once before, or a few times, because you got a few kids amongst you. So, I mean, and let me tell you something. My granddad was a hoe, okay? My granddad was a hoe, all right? And my grandma was the one that came in and said, bitch, not today. And you said, okay, I'm done. I said, oh, if that's all it took. But whatever, moving on from that, they started talking about Lovely Mimi and the situation with her, and how she was, before they even knew Carly, she was ready to, throw down for Tommy and all this stuff. And, Tommy said it was some shit that was going on that Carly said about Lovely Mimi on the internet, on social media. Carly Red said, I ain't got time to say no shit about her on no social media. She said, not so Mimi. Let me just say this. Carly Red tried so hard to come back with clapbacks and shade and jokes in her little shade or her comebacks, but they don't be funny and they fall flat. Okay? And you coming at this girl talking about she don't even have a license to be a nail tech, and all she could do is do my toes, and you don't own shit, you don't own this and whatever. If she has her own business, whether or not she owns the fucking building, she is doing something for her fucking self. So how fucking dare you and I don't even fuck with Lovely Mimi like that, and I'm glad she admit that she a loud ass bitch. How can you put down a bitch that is doing something? Okay? She's working towards owning that fucking building. She got her own shit. You got your own shit. Do you own that fucking office space up in the mall? Or are you paying, a monthly rent for that building, for that little space or whatever where your shit is at? Okay? Do you own the fucking mall? No, you don't, bitch. Stop that. Stop that shit. Okay? And I was even here for Sierra saying I don't fuck with the bitch like that, but I respect the bitch because you did come from, and even Melissa had to say that, coming from, because Tommy brought it up too, coming from DC down to Atlanta and establishing and trying to establish yourself, that takes a lot. And I was like, I never down a bitch for trying to get that shit going, okay? And Carly, since when the fuck did you get so about it, bitch? When do you all of a sudden think that everybody feel as if you can intimidate somebody? Bitch, you can't intimidate nobody. God damn it, bitch, what? Get the fuck out of here. So they talked about the Jamaica trip. They talk about Kurt popping up. Rashida was like, bitch, listen, I ain't want that motherfucker there, but he didn't ruin my trip because I still had a good ass time. Jock popping up and all this stuff and bringing an intern. And Nina said, bitch, I went to college and I did a few internships and shit like that. But bitch, ain't none of my internships, my bosses Sent me on a fucking trip to Jamaica. I went on a trip with my boss. Hell no. So what the fuck was going on? They asked Jock. Treasure was like, no, clear it up because you know that we was friends before all this stuff happened. But I said, bitch, shut the fuck up. Ain't nobody talking to you right now, right? They're talking to Jock, the people that's on the main stage, okay? Just shut up, all right? So, Jock was like, they was like, did something happen? Did you think that, what was the purpose of bringing Treasure there? Was you trying to, hit, or was you trying to make Carly jealous or whatever? He gonna say, no, no. I said, nigga, if you don't stop your fucking line, okay, we already know what it is. And then, they start getting to whether that Treasure and him had sex, and she said, hell no. And then whether Carly, okay, before that, I think, Treasure got in her feelings about something, or she got called out about something, and she started going off, and they was like, well, why did you leave the room and all that stuff if you was feeling this way? And if you didn't care, if y'all wasn't fucking around, why you leave the room with an attitude or some shit like that? But see, I don't know y'all girls, because y'all girls up in here, and these Atlanta bitches, they be up in there all hostile and all this stuff. As soon as she said Atlanta girls be hostile, and all Jessica Dime heard was Atlanta girls, even though the bitch from Memphis, she said Atlanta girls, and that woke Dime up like, bitch, if you don't shut your motherfucking ass up, I done whooped your ass before, I beat that, I don't want to have to do it again, but bitch, every time I see your ass in the motherfucking street, I beat that motherfucking ass with that dusty ass, cheap ass wig. Bitch, you ain't do shit to me, you ain't even hit me first, okay? You ain't even land no fucking hit, all you did was pull my hair off. That's what I said. Treasure, you still fucking lost. At the end of the fucking day, you lost, regardless of what it was, okay? We come to find out, Jock and Carly did something with each other, and that's what it is, okay? So Carly getting pissed off about this Caesar shit, bitch, you was all, that was fake. So moving on from that, and then we talk about, Jessica Dime getting engaged and stuff, and that was a cute moment, whatever. So we start in on Tommy and the relationship with her mom, and right when they get to asking her how was the relationship or how was it growing up with your mom, she said everything was great, and then she got up and left because she was like, I ain't finna show these bitches no weakness. I ain't finna get up here and have a little breakdown in front of these bitches and all that stuff. I'm trying to move forward in my life. I get where she coming from, but it was a lot. It was a lot. It was heavy. Shit. My throat even said so. It was heavy, all right? And you can tell that she's dealing with a whole bunch of shit that they haven't got figured out. Jessica Dime was like, she wished Tommy could hear this, but she wanted her to expound more on the fact that when Tommy said that her mom sent her to juvie and she's been going to jail ever since because Jessica Dime said the similar thing happened to her. Her mother sent her to juvie. And, you see now she's out of that stage and they just need to work on what's going on within their life and get their problems out there. And they asked Mama D what shit went wrong. She was like, well, Sam just started talking and shit. And it's like, I told her, just let Tommy get the shit that's on her chest. Oh, and that's what we all been saying. Okay. And I believe Sam was probably drunk that night too. But when Tommy finally come out there, she started talking about how when she said she wanted her mom to come on the show. And she said she saw how Rashida mom was. She saw how Mama D mom, Scrappy mom was, and how they supported their children. And she thought something like that could help and would be the same way. Because her and her mom were actually working on, they was in a good space, I should say. And then all of a sudden, when the first scene come on, she was like, something flipped. And old girl started acting out. She was like, I don't know what she thought that this what people wanted to see or wanted to be about, but that's where the breakdown happened. And she just started talking about that, and she was saying how she ain't grow up being a hoe. She a scammer and all that stuff, and that's all that she knew because she learned that from her mom. Her mom didn't teach her how to be a hoe. Her mom taught her how to be a scammer and all that. So you can call her all the stuff that you want, but not a hoe. And all the old heads, meaning like KK and all that stuff, they taught her. They was doing this and doing that for her, whatever. Child, why bring up KK? Because they was like, KK can't be here because she just had some surgery or about to get some surgery, but she here remotely. So, KK, what do you feel about, the situation with Tommy? Tommy is a actress. I said, well, damn, KK, hello to you too. Tommy is an actress, okay? She got everybody up on this stage full. And, you know, it was all the same stuff that she was saying in the video. If you have not seen that video, bitch, it was like over an hour long. And I sat there like, goddamn. Like, KK went into fucking details, okay? And you could tell she was hurt because she felt like she felt like probably a auntie or another mother figure to Tommy. And they was like, how did this shit all come about? KK said, bitch, this bitch called her and sent her a text after that scene with Mama D and them and said that I'm gonna kill your dogs and all this other shit, and was just going in on her in the text messages. And then she went in a week later on Instagram. And then that's when, you know, they was going back and forth. And that's when that video came out. KK said, fuck this shit, bitch. I know she ain't acting ungrateful. And she was like, the only way we can move forward is if, you know, she apologized publicly for the shit that she said. Okay. And thank me. I ain't never asked for thanks for nobody, but bitch, you need to thank me because I'm the one that brought you onto this show. And even Stevie confirmed that, you know, she did bring her onto the show. And it ain't getting nowhere because Tommy said, bitch, what the fuck you want, bitch? What you gonna do, bitch? You want some trouble? I like trouble. I invite trouble. I like trouble. It's fun to me, bitch. I don't give a fuck all this stuff. I'm sitting here like, you be saying you be trying to change, but you let the little small things get to you that quick. Like, and she just flips, and it's just like, God damn. And at one point, KK said, if you don't do this shit, then your ass going to jail. Bitch, did anybody else just look up and go, wait a minute, what happened? What happened? Even Stevie was like, wait a minute, what? I'm confused, but that's a lost cause at this point because I don't think neither one of them going to apologize to each other. And it's fucked up because KK really did care for Tommy. And like Tommy said, KK did want her to be with her son. KK did want her to marry him. So, hey, it was a breakdown in communication once again. And it's really fucked up. Girl, they get to talking about Melissa and her shit. And, you know, asking Mimi, why does Carly get a pass? And Mimi's being with Jocelyn, she was like, she don't get a pass. It's just that, like Carly said, she approached it differently. And Arian finally gets on the fucking main stage, bitch. Okay. Sitting next to her boo thing. Y'all can't tell me Arian and Mimi ain't fucked before. It's too... Anyway, so... they going back and forth. And Arian was like, you know, I ain't gonna say Melissa's opportunistic, but she's somewhere in the realm of that. And Melissa was like, bitch, for who? You, Mimi, or what? Because what exactly do you have to offer me? And to be quite honest, compared to them two, Melissa is the more successful one because she is a successful DJ, you know, and she, especially in the LGBT scene and all that stuff. So I was with her like, what the fuck y'all got to offer? Because Arian, you were supposed to put out some music. Where is it? We don't care for it because you can't really sing. But Mimi, you done been through a whole bunch of shit. But like I was confused about that shit too, and she never really did elaborate on it. But then Melissa was talking and giving examples of stuff, and she was like, you know, it took an ex for me to tell me I couldn't even say my ex name in front of you and all that stuff, and you know, to understand where Mimi was really coming from, and Mimi cool, we cordial, all that stuff. Melissa was talking some shit that I really was like, girl, what? I was like Arian for a second, what she say? And then they started going back and forth, and I was like, I'm over it. I just got bored with it. I really did. Moving on from that, Scrappy was on there and they showed the breakdown of his relationship with Bambi. And you could tell that, and I respect Scrappy for this fact, and you could tell that he was really in love with Bambi. Bambi probably really was one of the ones for him because he did not disrespect her at all, talking about her or placing a lot of the blame on her. And, you know, he even looked like he was about to break down the crowd for a second. That man's still in love with her. I don't know if y'all be following on the blogs, but she posted on the shit, him in a text message, like he keeps calling her and trying to text her and all this stuff as if they, you know, trying to get back with her. And she like, I ain't even trying to go that route. And even Mama D said the Bams then put her hooves in her, and you know, she actually grew to love her and wanted to see some pacifiers and Gerber and all that stuff and babies running around, and you know, it just didn't happen. And Scrappy said from what he learned, because he really did try with this relationship, but you know, you can love someone, but that don't mean that, or be in love with someone, but that don't mean that y'all are right to be together. And I said, look at this motherfucker. And he down in Miami, and that's awesome. So Nina asks, Stevie, what did he think gonna happen or want with Jocelyn? Listen, leave Jocelyn the fuck alone. Jocelyn moved on, okay? He did say, he don't think they gonna get back together, even though they kind of did and they broke up again. He said he'd hit her off and fuck the bitch, but leave that bitch alone. She with somebody else. I seen the pictures earlier. Licking all over niggas' ear. He looked kind of like a daddy figure too, but hey, daddy issues. And Kirk and Rashida, what y'all gonna do? Kirk, Rashida, I'm gonna do a vacation by myself. Maybe I really do need that. They really were up there matching. That's why I don't give a shit. Kirk is that baby's father. I don't fucking care what nobody says. And Scrappy, he's still out there. He gonna get his music. He said he gotta get his music right before he can get another beach. And Mama D said she gonna fly over there to his the Duke's palace or whatever, dip back over at her palace to see what the fuck Ernest gonna do. Maybe do he want me or do he want his mama's milk and cookies? I said, Mama D, go to bed. That's the end of Love and Hip. Thank God this was just a two-parter. Y'all, I will see y'all next week for Love and Hip Hop Hollywood, okay? Peace.